In a world full of challenges and doubt, one trait can light the path forward: self-confidence. It's not arrogance, and it's not perfection. It's the quiet inner strength that tells you, I am enough, I am capable, and I will rise. Self-confidence begins with belief. The belief that, like the rising sun, every day brings a new chance to grow, to rise, and to stand tall. It's not about where you are now, but the light you choose to walk toward. True self-confidence is the freedom to open your arms to the world and say, I am ready. It's not about having no fear, it's about standing tall despite the fear, knowing you are enough, just as you are. There are moments when doubt creeps in, when the weight of expectations, fear of failure, or voices of criticism make us question ourselves. In this silence, we begin to lose sight of our worth. This is where self-confidence feels most distant. But it's also where the journey truly begins. There are moments when nervousness and shyness hold us back, when the presence of others makes us shrink into ourselves. We sit quietly, afraid to speak, afraid to be seen. But it's in these quiet struggles that our story begins. The story of finding our voice and stepping forward despite the fear. And sometimes, the loudest battles are fought in silence. We smile to hide the tremble inside, pretend to be fine while quietly questioning our place in the world. But beneath the doubt, there is a spark, waiting to be noticed, waiting to be believed in. There are days when everything feels too heavy, when self-doubt whispers louder than hope. But even in our lowest moments, we hold the quiet power to rise. True self-confidence isn't about never falling. It's about believing we can stand again. Sometimes we shrink into ourselves, not from weakness, but from the weight of waiting to be seen. In these quiet moments, we aren't lost. We are gathering the courage to rise, to speak, and to show the world who we are becoming. There are days when emotions are heavy and answers feel distant. You sit with the weight of it all, unsure, overwhelmed, questioning your place. But even in that quiet struggle, there's strength. The strength of someone still holding on, still hoping, still trying. Sometimes the hardest part is showing up, sitting still while uncertainty churns inside you. But showing up is a quiet kind of courage. Even when confidence wavers, even when doubt lingers, just being present is a step toward strength, and that step matters. Sometimes all it takes is a voice of encouragement, someone who sees the potential in you before you do. This moment of connection can plant the seed of belief, reminding you that you're not alone in your journey toward confidence. Sometimes all it takes is one voice, calm, steady, and believing, to shift the way we see ourselves. A mentor doesn't just offer advice, they offer perspective. They remind us that who we are becoming is already taking shape, even if we can't see it yet. A mentor, a guide, someone who reminds you that your fears don't define you. In that moment, you stop shrinking and start standing tall. There comes a moment when someone believes in you, loudly, boldly, and without hesitation. And in that moment, something shifts. You stand a little taller. You begin to see the potential they see. This is not just encouragement. It's a turning point. A hand rises, not out of habit, but with intent. A voice prepares to be heard, no longer content with silence. In that instant, self-doubt gives way to resolve, and the choice to engage becomes the first act of becoming. The moment arrives, not as a test, but as a turning point. Surrounded by minds once perceived as distant, the courage to stand and speak begins reshaping what once seemed unchangeable. Growth does not wait for permission. It begins the moment presence meets purpose. Voices once uncertain now carry conviction. Shared stories begin to bridge silent distances, forming a circle not of conformity, but of mutual growth. In this space, leadership is not declared. It is recognized through courage, humility, and the quiet strength of connection. Every step forward now echoes louder. What once felt like solitude has become a movement. Eyes once unfamiliar now look with trust. This is no longer just a journey. It is a responsibility to rise, to lead, and to uplift others toward the same light once sought alone. Now the voice no longer trembles. What began as a whisper of hope has grown into a message worth sharing. Clarity has replaced hesitation, and purpose stands firm. The journey that once demanded strength is now offering it to others. Conviction begins when the inner voice finally speaks louder than fear. The words, "Yes, I can," are not just a declaration, they are a breakthrough. This is no longer about proving something to the world. It's about finally believing it. There comes a moment when hesitation gives way to certainty. Not because all the answers are clear, but because the will to try finally outweighs the fear to fail. A voice within rises, "Yes, I can," and everything begins to shift. Some journeys don't just lead to destinations. They lead to people. In shared laughter and silent understanding, something deeper is found, strength reflected in another's eyes. When connection lights the soul, even the darkest skyline begins to shine. Every step began in silence, in doubt, in solitude. Yet with each moment of courage, each voice raised, each hand extended, the path became clearer. Growth emerged not in grand declarations, but in quiet persistence. From the stillness of uncertainty to the fire of conviction, the transformation was never about becoming someone else. It was about remembering what had always been possible. Now, with hearts ignited and spirits aligned, the journey moves forward, not alone, but together.